someone who has had to cut off one of my parents, my dad, I can just tell you that just because you cut a parent off, it does not mean you hate them. Like, I don't have any ill will towards my dad. I don't hate him. I wish the best for him. We just could not get along. And it got to the point where it was volatile on both sides. It was toxic and it was just too much. And at some point, you as the adult or as adults in the situation, you have to decide, like, is this even worth it anymore? And ultimately for me, it wasn't. And he also, we both agreed, this is not working. This is not working. We are too different or similar. I don't know, but it just did not work. And also, like, sometimes when you're on a healing journey and you're healing, you just can't accept certain things anymore. So before, when you're toxic and you're still growing and you're still developing, you'll accept certain behavior because that's what you think you deserve. That's what you think makes sense. That's what you think is normal. But once you start healing and your standards of living start increasing and your boundaries become, more certain, suddenly Seymour, it's not even like an option. It's like, I might not even want to cut you off, but I have to, because I have other things going on and I don't have time to be dealing with this nonsense that you bring. You know what I'm saying? So just because you cut your parent off, it does not mean you don't love them. It does not mean you don't like them. It's just like a breakup, like any other relationship. It's just not working out. It is what it is, and that's okay. All right, so let's keep watching some other videos and I'll be back.
I remember I was so stupid enough to loan my mom $1,500 for her to pay off her eviction. She didn't pay the eviction, and then I allowed her to stay with me for 6 months. The reason why I said it was stupid was because, if you haven't seen my other posts, my mom put me through hell. And to get out of that hell, I moved out to get away from her. Also, it's like parents can ask you for stuff, but you can't ask them for nothing. So I felt stupid for even giving her $1,500 or letting her live with me because I couldn't do any of those things. And to still get verbally abused by someone and live in your house is extremely insane. I didn't ask her for rent or anything. All I did was ask her to occasionally watch my kids, but she still couldn't do that, which I don't know why I get mad about stuff that I already know that she's going to say no to. But it was like the principle. You live on with me for free. You can't watch my kids for a couple hours. Anyways, I did give her a deadline on when I think they should leave because it has been 6 months. And one day I came home, bags were packed, and they were gone. And we didn't talk for a couple of weeks. And I didn't get a thank you. And also, I'm mad because I still haven't got my $1,500 back.
It was your freaking mother the whole time. Okay? Hear me out. First off, don't mind my little bleach spots. I used to wear this when I was a hairstylist, and I found it in my closet and was like, I'm definitely going to put it on. I don't care about that. Forget the Sharpie. Anyway, it was your mother the whole time. Okay? So God recently showed me that I have a narcissistic mother who operates out of the Jezebel spirit, which means she is a demon. She is being used, so she is. I don't know. But anyway, and he recently showed me that. And so I started to just go down the timeline of all the times that Shorty really has stopped me from progressing and moving forward. And I'm going to tell you guys just a few of them, all of them, just so we can have an idea of what it looks like. So the very first time was when I was 18 years old and I was going to the Art Institute of Hollywood. I was so excited. And she was also like bigging me up, like, oh, this is going to be so great. Yeah, you need to get out and all this stuff. And I didn't want to go to regular college. I never did. So I was like, yeah, like, let me just go here. She then tells me, once everything just needs to be finalized, she tells me that I am going to be a crackhead. And that, what am I going to do when I get turned out by crack and I don't have anyone to call? So what she did was scare me into believing that I didn't have enough willpower not to do crack. Now, here I am at my big age now. I've never done crack. I've done things, but I've never done crack. So she scared me, making me think I was going to be a crackhead, and then also that she wasn't going to be there to help me. So what did I do? Ended up going to a community college where I paid my own way because I'm like, I'm not asking Shorty for nothing because I'm so sick of and I picked up on them signs then. But I was still like, actually, I don't think I was 18. I think I was actually 20 or turning 21. I'm wrong. The second time was when I had moved back to Maryland and I was on my way to California again. And I was going to go to law school. The job I was working at could actually transfer me because they were founded in California. So with no problem, 222, they could transfer me. And I ended up telling my mom, and I'm like, oh, and she was in Charlotte at the time. I was in Maryland, and I was just going to go straight to California. And so she's like, oh, when I tell her, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go to law school. Always wanted to go to either, if I wasn't going to be into fashion, I wanted to be a law student. I wanted to be in law school. Everybody else wanted me to do hair and beauty. So we'll get to that. So freaking, I'm sitting here like, okay, cool, boom, I'm going to law school. And Shorty's like, but you're too old. I was 25. I was 25. I was 25. So then she convinces me, oh, you should just come back to Charlotte where there's nothing. Charlotte is being bigged up now. Like it's being, when we first moved to Charlotte, it was 2007, nothing. When I moved back to Charlotte, they were starting to build it up and stuff like that. It was 2000, I don't even remember. But nothing was there. Okay? And so I'm sitting here like, okay, well, like, all right. And she made it sound so good. You don't have to pay no bills. You can just go to school and figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, why don't you just go to beauty school? Because I was working in a hair salon. Because, I mean, I love beauty, but that's not something that I actually really wanted to do. I was a receptionist then. She was like, well, why don't you just go to beauty school, whatever. And I'm like, I mean, I really want to go to law school. And she's like, well, you know, just start off in beauty school, whatever, boom. So I'm like, okay, hated it. Hated it. And for those of you that went to beauty school with me, I hated it. And you know why. Okay, horrible experience. It was a horrible experience for me. So, I mean, look at, no, I got this in a hair salon because I actually started working in the salon. But anyway, so freaking, so then I was like, I never ever went to get my actual license, but I did work in salons because I was just that good. But I never went and got my license. I did go and get it, but I ended up like failing the test, which they found out that it was like a mishap, and I actually got a free test again, but I never went back because I was like, screw it. I don't want to do that. So I started bartending again, and then just started my business after that. So then she told me when I started my business, I quit my job. I had about like 18,000 saved. And I said, oh, I'm going to quit my job. And I didn't tell her that. I quit my job and I'm like, I'm going to start my business. Now, this is when God put it on my heart to actually start customizing and doing the rhinestoning, which is what I do now. But I stopped for a very long time because my mom told me, oh, nobody's going to wear rhinestones like that. Nobody wears rhinestones. Like, that's stupid. You're not going to make any money and it takes too long. Everybody and their mama wear rhinestones. When I first did these shoes, it was a man that wanted these shoes. She told me no man was going to want. It was a man that wanted these shoes. So I practiced on my own shoes. And I made a lot of money off of them because he had a big foot. So then when I was going, when I ended up like going through everything I went through in 2024, and I was thinking about transitioning out of, well, God told me that I was coming here, so I was transitioning out, but I don't think that I was actually supposed to leave Charlotte. I then told her, because the place that I had to get my license from, they were like, because I passed my first test, that at any time I can come back and take my other one. And so she was like, oh, and I told my mom, I was like, well, I'm going to stay a little bit longer because I want to go take this test so I can like make some money while I'm in Florida or whatever. And I didn't know I was going to be helping my granddad, but I ended up doing that. But I'm like, while I'm in Florida, I wanted to make some money, whatever. She told me, no, don't do that. That's stupid. Like, you're thinking small. She says you're thinking small. You're not thinking like, you're thinking like a meager mindset. You need to think like bigger, and you staying there, like you need to hurry up and get out of there. Me not going to do that test ended up being the worst thing. Right now, I could be working in a hair salon while I'm trying to get my business off the ground where I'm at, right? But then she told me I was thinking small, right? But then when I actually started saying, well, okay, well, I'm just going to go on my business, she told me, I don't see how you're going to make money with this. And then when I started to make money, and someone was like, told me that I was going to be the illustrator for their book, because I was working on their design and I do logos and I do all that. So hit me up. She told me, she got mad and said, oh, but the illustrator is not even on the front of the book. It's your mother. So then, and I should have known, but she told me for this place, she's like, oh, I'm going to co-sign because God told me to, and God told me to help you, and God said to do all this. Well, God told me to confront the family and let them know that they've been operating out of a Jezebel spirit, and we're cutting that. It's time is up. Time is up. And it's funny because I just saw a video and she was like, time's up. Yeah, that's how I know it's a real thing. Time's up. And God told me that. Also showed me she was a Jezebel. I had an Ahab spirit. She was stopping me from everything that I wanted to do. She was able to control me. I was very weak. Very freaking weak. And just like Ahab. And also that I was codependent to her and that she would slow me down. I didn't even put all that in the message because I actually cowered out. I cowered it, whatever. So I said everything else he told me to say, which is that my grandmother's a witch, which is very true. Because I think people think like witches are like brewing. No, that's not. Witches just manipulate energy. Told her that. So before I moved here, she's like, oh, well, I'm going to pay your rent. You just pay me back. Because she knew what I was doing and that I was coming here to like start my business, figure it out, still push my brand, push everything, whatever, try to get some sales. When I did that, she then told me she can't do it anymore. Your mother, the whole time. Listen, I'm going to do a part 2 because it's more to it. Not anymore. It's some more. Listen.
The worst part about a narcissistic parent is that you literally never get a second off the clock dealing with that shit. You're on vacation, they're mad about some shit that's happening at home. You're at home, they're angry that they're at home. You're at school, you're not doing enough. You're fucking doing your hobbies and special interest, you need to quit doing those because they're not making money. You're not making money, you need to be making money. You're making too much money, give me all of your money. It's like...
Like, everybody be swearing they want a 2-parent household and then you get stuff like this. My dad didn't pay rent this month. My dad never pays rent. My dad never pays rent. My dad never pays rent. I've been paying rent since I've been 14. This man never pays rent. My car broke down a whole week ago. 2 weeks ago, my car broke down. I had to beg them to take me to work. Sitting up my whole last for them to take me to work and still had to hear them arguing. I pay rent every single week. I get paid. I pay my rent. I send them, bro. I be broke trying to pay them their rent. Still got to worry about everything else. Like, people be swearing that they want a 2-parent household. She just dropped me off in the middle of nowhere because she's mad I didn't pay rent. She blocked me on Cash App because she was trying to get me to send her what I had last in my account. She was trying to get me to send her what I had last in my account. No way to work, no way to school. I had to still send her my last so that I can get to work and to school. Pay for her gas, even though my dad gets gas for whenever he gets gas. My car got fixed. I had to spend $350 for the one part, $200 for the next part. I had to get a new battery. That was another $160. I had to put gas in the car. I had to get so much new stuff in my car to get fixed. I got my car fixed. The car was working. And it broke down the next day again, bro. It broke down the next day, so I asked her to take me to work. She starts arguing with us because she's like, nobody wants to pay rent. It's just me. It's just me. Mind you, yesterday I got paid. Last night I got paid. No, this morning I got paid at 1 a.m. I got paid at 1 a.m. I got paid at 1 a.m. I tried to send her money. She blocked me on Cash App because she mad I didn't send her no gas money. But it's like, what am I sending you gas money for if you don't even take me where I asked you to take me? You take me to work maybe once out of the 4 days that I work. Literally maybe once. So you want me to send you all this type of money? Now I'm in the middle of nowhere. I had to get a $30 lift after just sending her. She pulled over to the side. I can't even, like, I'm literally in front of a church crashing out. I don't know where the freak I am. She was taking me to work. And she pulled over and said, nobody helps me. Your father don't help me. You don't help me. So I told her, how are you mad at me for picking a husband I don't want to pick up the slack when you need help? This man pays nothing but Wi-Fi. I pay more rent than this man does. This man is 53 years old. I'm only 19. I've been paying rent since 14. 5 years I missed no payments to paying her. And she dressed me off on the side, mad at me because your husband won't pick up the slack. That don't got shit to do with me. Like, literally, that don't have nothing to do with me. Like, y'all need to start picking people who are willing to help y'all stop being lazy. I'm irritated. I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's under 30 degrees. I have clothes on, but it's cold as freak. I have cold articulate. I'm literally allergic to the cold. And she dropped me off on the side of nowhere. Like, I'm literally... Bro, I swear to God. I swear, bro. Like, literally, this woman is insane. Like, she don't think her beating on me and mentally abusing me is enough. Like, literally, you had to drop me off on the side. I'm literally 10 minutes late for work. It's 6:10. I was supposed to be to work at 6. My car would not start. Like, bro, he don't pay rent. He still get to make it to work. I don't pay rent. I get dropped off on the side of the road. Bro. Like, y'all don't understand, like, having mentally abusive parents and then 2 of them is so unreal. Like, and then I'm scared of the dark. I'm literally scared of the dark. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Like, bro. Then they be wanting to call you after they do you wrong. After they do you the freak wrong, they want to keep on calling you. Stop calling me. You did not care when you dropped me off on the side of the road. So why the freak do you care what the freak happens to me now? Weird and ugly. Like, I swear to God. People be like, they want a 2-parent household. You're so lucky to have a father and a mom. They're literally insane. Like, they're literally insane. Like, they're literally insane. The other day, I just tried to go, bro, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I'm pissed off. I've never met no people like this in my life. Like, I've never met people like this in my life. Like, then I just found out that I got the lift to the wrong location. Bro, I got the lift to the wrong location. The lift is even more than $30. And I'm still here, bro. I'm literally irritated. I don't do nothing to nobody. I pray every day. I believe in God. I don't cuss my parents out. I get them a little attitude here and there because they do stupid shit like this. What is that? Bro, and then I'm scared of the dark, bro. I'm pissed off. Like, nobody understands what the freak I go through. And I gotta go to work and still have a smile on my face. I gotta go to school and still make good grades. Like, people don't understand what I go through. Like, bro, like, these people are insane, bro. I don't think y'all understand. These people are insane, bro. These people are insane. Like, I'm the only one out of all my siblings to have a job at 14. I'm the only one out of my whole generation to go to college. I literally had to keep up with going to 2 colleges at once. 2 colleges, going to 2 different schools, and going to work, paying rent, giving up my whole check. Like, literally, bro. And I'm only 19. Like, I don't deserve stuff like this, bro. It's not fair. Like, they want to keep on saying to be grateful that they letting me stay under their roof. This is hell. Like, this is literally hell, bro. Like, I can feel myself starting to react because I'm freaking allergic to the cold. Like, my hands hurt and my face hurts, bro. And I'm already crying. Like, I'm irritated, and I'm in front of a church. Like, I'm just irritated. Ooh, why am I crying? All right, okay. I'm insane, but it's just like, y'all don't understand. Like, all my siblings are gone. I don't be having nobody to go to. I'm the only one. I'm getting it so much worse. Like, these people don't know how to treat people, bro. Like, bro. Bro, I'm insane, but I'm not insane. Like, they don't be understanding why I'm insane. Like, I'm irritated. Hold on. But I'm trying to calm down so that y'all hear, but I literally look insane. Like, literally, I'm crying so hard, the snot is coming out my mouth. Like, literally, I can taste the snot. Like, it's nasty, but I'm crying so hard. I'm still here. I'm gonna stand out here for 30 minutes. I'm literally allergic to the cold. Like, I'm literally allergic. Why are they looking at me? I'm literally allergic to the cold. I'm reacting as we speak. Allergic to the cold, waiting for a lift. I'm irritated because she knows I'm allergic to the cold. My hands are literally swelling up as I talk, as I breathe. My hands are swelling up. She knows I'm allergic to the cold. She never cared. Like, this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. This two-parent household really don't be as much as it is. Like, I see single moms and single dads doing 10 times better than my parents did ever in their life. Like, I'm literally going and seeing, and these people do not care. Like, it's bugging the freak out of me because I hate when people come to me and say, you got your mom, your dad in your life. There's no reason you should. These people will do stuff like this and not give a freak. She pulled me over to the side at first and said, if you don't send me the gas money, or if you don't send me the rent money right now, she pulled over to the side. There's people in the back of her. She said, if you don't send me the money right now, we're not going nowhere. I said, Mom, I will send it to you when I get home. She said, send it now or get out of my car or I'm going to drag you. So I sent her money. She's going to tell me I need to send her 50 more because of the time she took me to work this week. Mind you, my car's broke down. How else am I supposed to get to work? Mind you, we just moved a week ago. We just moved from one side of the town to the other side. This side, I'm literally 25 minutes away from work. So my list, even if I did take lifts, I have a car, but even if I did take lifts, them lifts would be over $30. Like, literally every time. We just moved from one town to the other town, and I'm asking her to take me to work, and it's still an issue. So I'm like, why do I gotta send you $50? You didn't even want to take me where I wanted to go, literally, when I asked you. So I told her I'm not. So she told me, we drove all the way down to this little thing right here, and she stops right here. She's like, matter of fact, get out of my car. I'm like, mind y'all, when she asked for the money, I sent it to her. But I didn't send her the rest of the 50 because she didn't take me to work. She didn't take me to school. She didn't take me to work. Mind you, bro. So she stopped right here. She said, get out of my car. I got in the car before I even closed the door. This motherfucker then drove off. Like, literally, the motherfucker then drove off. Before I got out of the car, she drove off. So she drove off. It's been almost 45 minutes since I've been dropped off right here. I'm allergic to the cold. My hands are like, bro. And people are looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, bro, this is irritating me, bro.
I wanted to do a video talking about my relationship with my twin sister and how growing up with a narcissistic mother has affected that relationship, because it has massively. And I think outwardly, on the surface, our relationship looks good, but actually the bones of our relationship and the meat of it is built on jealousy, comparison, and competition. And I think basically that's because narcissistic parents give their love and affection conditionally, and they reward compliance, achievements, appearance, things like that. So my sister and I were just constantly competing for scraps of validation from our mum. And my mum massively controlled the communication between me and my sister by gossiping to us about the other one, sharing things we'd told her in confidence, pitting us against each other. And that, although we love each other so much, it has led to a lot of mistrust. And unfortunately, that hasn't been fixed in adulthood, which I thought that it would. And it is a shame. Unfortunately, I have tried very hard to fix the relationship with my sister, and it hasn't worked because she won't admit that our relationship is the way that it is. So the reason I'm talking about this is because I've started therapy with a new therapist, and I'm doing EMDR, which, if you don't know what it is, it stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And if you don't know anything about it, look it up. It has been really, really, so far, quite life-changing for me. And I was a bit skeptical about it. I didn't know if it was going to work, but it really has. Like, I feel a lot, I don't want to say happier, less unhappy. I'm feeling unhappy a lot less often. And that for me has been amazing. And also I'm finding it a lot easier to motivate myself. which is fantastic. But I had a sort of realization about my relationship with my sister the other day, so I wanted to share that in this video. For a very long time, I realized that I can't be myself around my sister at all, and I feel like she doesn't know me whatsoever. And I was thinking for ages, I was thinking, why? Like, why do I feel like this? Why do I have such a wall up with her? And I realized that the reason is that I can't trust her. I can't trust her because the second that I show any vulnerability to my sister, she is on it. She is like, fucking brilliant. I can use that. I can use that at a later date, or I can use that to hurt her. And it's not the same the other way around. So she's always like, I love you so much. Oh my God, like our relationship is so great. And I found myself being like, is it? Oh God, I looked like my mum then. Oh, I hate being able to look at myself. Anyway, and she's like saying that we've got this amazing relationship, and I'm always like, yeah. And inside my head, I'm thinking, no, we fucking don't. And I've realized that is why she has a great confidant in me. She can trust me. She can tell me whatever she wants. And I don't use her vulnerability as a weapon. But she does the other way around because she has to still win. She has to win at everything. And the main things that she is competitive with are, I'd say money, but in a subtle sense. We would never talk figures like how much we earn or, household income or anything like that. It's compared more in like more subtle ways. Happiness in our relationships. Appearance. And the thing that my sister has been most competitive about is our dad. And that's been really, really hard. She's tried really, really hard to make sure that I think that dad loves her much more than he loves me, and that they have a much stronger bond, a much closer relationship. She's not as bad when she is in a relationship. She's okay at the moment because she's got a boyfriend, but when she's single, she's on a fucking mission. And it's really, really hurtful. And it gets to me so much, but I never show her that it's getting to me. I play completely dumb, thinking that'll make her stop, but it doesn't. If anything, it makes it worse. And a few years ago, she was in a relationship with this guy who was a complete idiot, like most of her boyfriends are. And she started being so nasty. Anytime we'd spend time together, like, say there was me, my husband, this was before our daughter was born, me and my husband, her and her boyfriend at the time, my dad, stepmom, maybe stepbrother, step cousins, whatever. Any time I opened my mouth, my sister and her boyfriend were like this. Oh yeah. Is that right, Liv? And I was like, what? Sorry, what? Is everything okay? And she'd be like, yeah, fine, yeah. Absolutely fine. What? I haven't said anything. What are you talking about? And it was so bitchy, and it was out of control. And I was leaving, and she did it at family, like my mum's side of the family, Christmas thing. And I was really, really upset. It was because it was alluding to, she was kind of making fun of my size and my body. And I ended up leaving. I didn't leave the event, but I ended up having to go to the toilet because I was really upset. And my mum was really angry that I'd got upset. And then she sided with my sister, said she hadn't done anything wrong. I was imagining it. My husband was there. He had literally seen it, and he was like, this is awful. What the hell is going on? And why is your sister being like this? And I was like, she's done it all my life. She's done it all my life. But it was particularly bad at this time, and this was happening constantly alongside the competitiveness with Dad. And she'd tell me, I'd say, oh, I'll see you on Sunday. I'm going to that thing with Dad that you're coming to. And she'd be like, oh, I told Dad to invite you to that. I told him to invite you. Like, he wouldn't invite you if it wasn't for me telling him to. He would only want me there. Really, really hurtful. And I know it's not true. She just couldn't. She was so desperate to compete with me. And I had a few drinks one night. I was really, really upset. And I said to my husband, I'm just going to call her. I'm just going to ring her and let's put an end to this. And my husband was like, okay, I don't think it's a good idea, but okay. And I rang her and I was like, oh, babes, let's just stop this. She was like, stop what? And I said, this competition, this jealousy. I said, I am not in competition with you. I just want to be sisters. I just want us to get on. Like, you're acting like a mean girl at the moment. Can't we just stop it? Can't we just be friends? She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I literally don't know what you're talking about. I haven't done any of that. And she completely denied all of it. So it was just like flogging a dead horse. There's no point. She doesn't have another mode when it comes to me. And I don't know if she's the same even with her friends. She doesn't really have many friends. And I suspect that might be why. But yeah, it's sad. And I think I think I'm probably going to distance myself from her. There's so much more I could say about my relationship with my sister. I do love her to bits. I really do. But our relationship isn't in a great way because of our mum.
I don't want to say the word, but there is a phenomenon going on where adults are obsessed with children. Now, my lane is deliverance and narcissism. One thing that I've noted, narcissists love to surround themselves with little kids. Some of the kids will be scapegoated and abused. Other kids will be put on a pedestal and idolized, but all of it is abusive. They don't feel the need to protect the child from harm. In fact, they often put the child in harm's way. I did a post earlier about how narcissists treat their own children. It has become common awareness now that this is what happens if you have a narcissistic parent. Worst case scenario is narcissists will eroticize children. They will view them in very unholy ways. They're attracted to them because children are the purest form of human being life. They're the closest to God. They have the most vibrant energy. Their innocence is an aphrodisiac to sick, narcissistic, demonic people. Instead of being loved, cared for, and trained to become good adults of society, they are no better than mere pets to a narcissist. Easy to manipulate, easy to extract emotion from them, vulnerable. If you read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, especially the Old Testament, you will see what God thinks about people who harm children. Society will collapse. It will collapse because children are not treated as children. They have now become narcissistic supply for evil, maniacal people who get away with it and pass it down the line to the next generation.
I recently went no contact with my mom, and it has been the most freeing experience ever. I think what really pushed me to finally make that decision is realizing that I am actively parenting kids to not act like her and to be responsible and to take accountability and to not be selfish. And I'm just like, what am I showing to my children if I'm trying to teach them to be a good person, and then I allow this woman to still be in my life and still exhibit all those terrible behaviors? Eventually my kids are going to start to notice, right? So I finally like blocked her, and I feel so much better. It is so diabolical the way that narcissists think, because when my parents divorced, my mom decided that she was going to cope by drinking, by going out, by partying, by never being home. And obviously my parents just got divorced. She was supposed to be the only parent taking care of us, and she didn't do that. We were never close, not at all. But now I like have my own life. I have a husband, I have kids, I have a home. Like, I'm a whole grown ass adult now, you know, and she just like demands to be a part of my life, and I can't do it anymore. I've told this woman before that like I have no interest in a mother-daughter relationship with her, and that I think that I feel like she's trying to find like this like friendship relationship between us, because like I said, we don't have that bond of a parent and a child. And I've told her straight up, I'm like, you are nobody that I would ever be friends with. You like to be a negative Nancy, you like to be rude to people, like you like to be inconsiderate, you like to not take accountability. Like, I would never hang out with somebody like you. She somehow managed to like integrate into my life so much more than I ever wanted her to do. But because I'm a nice person, literally managed her feelings all of my life, I was able to like navigate that. Like, I kept my mouth shut when I felt uncomfortable, and I allowed her to come over for holidays because I didn't want her to be alone and stuff like that. But I'm over it now. Like, learn to be alone. That is something that she never was able to do, and it's come to bite her in the ass. I don't know if she just loved male attention, or if she was actually ever trying to find like a stepdad to play family for us, but like she never did it. And now that we're out of the house, she's by herself, and she thinks that like we are obligated to make sure that like she's cool. Girl, you left us alone when I was a kid and didn't care to check up on us to make sure we were cool. So I think as a grown-ass adult, take care of yourself. Now that like I've stepped away from her, I felt like so at ease to like step into myself more and do things that I enjoy, because I don't have somebody in my ear telling me that like they should be coming with me, or they should be enjoying those things with me, or like, why didn't you invite me to do this, or why didn't you check to see if I wanted to do this? Because nobody wants to hang out with you, that's why. I am just so excited to see what 2026 holds for me without this negative energy, because I truly feel like her negativity has just held me back all of my life, and I release it and I rebuke it. If you're considering going no contact with a parent, a narcissistic parent, let me tell you, it feels so damn good.
Did my parents ever really love me? This is the final part. For now, my parents loved the idea of me. I was my mom's only child. All of my siblings are half-siblings, and my oldest half-siblings are both females. I was the first boy born into the family, and my dad used to drill it into my head that I had to have children until I had a boy in order to carry on the family name, because I was the end. But even when I was really small, my mom used to tell me the story about how when she first went in for an ultrasound, when she found out she was pregnant with me, the doctors thought I was a girl, and she cried her eyes out because she didn't want a girl. She wanted a boy, and so did my dad. And look, in between all the stories I've told you, there were times of great joy and I guess maybe love. Like, my mom kept 3 full journals of my life all the way up to like the age of 21 when I was like, please stop. It's weird. That's love, right? Well, I read all those journals, and not once was me being effeminate or playing with girls' toys or any of the issues that were really central to me not mentioned once. I was just a boy with a mom who doted on her son. Her son that had a little bit of a lisp and liked to wear a blanket on his head as hair and played with Barbies and had all girl friends. What's crazy is, as an adult, when I was trying to delve into some of this trauma with my mom and actually heal our relationship, I asked her, as a Christian, do you think that even though you're okay with gay and trans people, that maybe if you just raised me right, that I would choose the right path and just be cis and straight? And she was like, yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I was like, but it doesn't, because it's not a choice, is it? And she was like, no, I guess not. But that's a lot, that's what I thought. Now, am I telling these stories in order to get back at them?
Yeah, but that's not the only reason. I'm telling these stories in order to educate the public that you're not alone. If you had family or parents that did not like people like you, you're not alone. I've been there. I'm still here. I'm alive. I'm out of the closet. I snipped him off, and I feel more free than I ever have. Even if the act of being disowned by my family meant putting a years-long postponement on my transition. I told the story about why I was disowned by my mom a long time ago. I may tell it again if y'all want to hear it, but I wish I could say it was because we had some big blow-up fight that led to that, but no. What happened is my mom had to get used to the idea that I was transitioning, and that went against her religion, and she did not want to seek any type of therapy for the trauma that her and I had both lived through. She just wanted me to shut up about it and move on and pretend like it never happened. Like, why is that so hard? What really gets my goat is my narcissistic mom whispered into my oldest sister's ear, who I've always been like soul twins with, super close. And when I was disowned by my mom, I was also disowned by my sister. A sister who's not even related to my mom. A sister who I thought really knew me, but didn't. Which makes sense why she cried her eyes out when I came out as trans, actually, despite her being okay with me being gay. Anywho, let me know if you want another part called Did My Sister Ever Love Me? Love you.
I don't care what nobody say, parents can be jealous of their children too. And sometimes parents being jealous of their children will be disguised as tough love. I'm here to tell you they be disguising it and masking it as tough love. Like, I used to feel like when I was growing up that my mom used to make our lives harder, like purposely harder, and disguise it as I'm just trying to teach y'all, I'm trying to train y'all up, when all the while she was competing. And you don't notice this stuff when you're looking at your mom like that's my mom, she would never do something like that. But the reality is when you stop seeing your parent as your parent and you start to see them as a person, you start to realize that they be broken sometimes, they be jealous sometimes, they be competing sometimes. And while you never want to think about it that way, the biggest way that you can get yourself free from the strongholds of your parent, from being so bruised and emotionally tormented by your parent, is by understanding that they are a person too, understanding that sometimes the enemy can use them too. They be having things that are making them act in such a way that they cannot properly parent you or mother or father you. And that's a conversation that I don't think is talked about enough.
Inappropriate fathers will try to pick at their daughters because they get a rise out of making their daughters upset. Like, they'll start smirking. They're trying to get a negative reaction. But because, you know, it's the father and a daughter dynamic, the daughter that's not really a threat to him. They get a kick out of that, and it's very inappropriate because why'd you get a rise out of your daughter being upset? Like, that's something couples do. Narcissistic fathers do not respect emotional boundaries. They're trying to get past that wall into the emotional body and cause discomfort and cause like feeling agitated. A healthy father will be nurturing to their child, would not put their emotions off on that child because it is passive aggression. They will start arguments with their daughters because they are not a threat to them. They can take out their frustrations that the world puts on them, and they don't fear her defense or their defense, right? They know that they're not an opponent. They will get really angry and blow up when they have provoked that child. Sometimes they are waiting for that. They are waiting for a reason to sometimes even jump on them, right? They will do that. And these are the same men that aren't courageous, right? Cowards. They wouldn't defend their child against systems or against even other men or other men in the community. Why? Because they are afraid of men. Like, but love makes you courageous. So these fathers do not love their child. I know a lot of people say that all parents love their kids. That's not true. Some people don't know how to love because they're so cowardly. Love is courageous. They use intimidation to keep the daughter not feeling safe enough to speak up or out against them. This can cause the daughter to grow up to be a person that doesn't feel safe communicating their boundaries with men. So these men groom them to be afraid of men. They do expose the dangerous nature of men. So daughters with fathers that are emotionally and psychologically abusive understand that about men. But they will teach you to be afraid to assert a boundary or to have a healthy conversation. They won't feel safe in having certain conversations with men. Some men will use conversation as an entrance to violence. They will use that as a war tactic. They will use disagreeing as a way to mold this person into opposition. And then they feel justified in their attack. So if the man already has a history of being violent towards women, they will do that with their daughter. It's inappropriate because, first of all, it's inappropriate both ways, in romantic relationships and also parent-child. But these men, they don't have a line to how they treat their daughters and other women. They just treat all women the same, right? It's just misogynistic. They don't see that child as their daughter. A narcissist can't do that, right? But they will see them as their property or possession. This is my child. And so they don't respect even their autonomy. But they love arguments. They love that. They love arguing with their daughters. Not in an intellectual way. Like some men, they can be engaging, educational, fun, harmless, non-threatening. But a lot of men can't do that, right? They don't see women as intelligent. They don't see women as people. So what they do is see them as objects to project their shame on, to project their frustrations, their beliefs about the limitations of women, films, and they put that all on their daughter. They do that because, again, they know that there's rarely any consequence for accountability.
And sometimes, you have to cut your parent off because they might be dangerous. Like, let's just be real. There are some parents out here who are so evil that they will purposefully hurt their children. And there are some narcissists out here who we might not go as far as to say they're evil because they don't like SA you and things like that, but they're pretty darn messed up. And there's a level to evils. Like if your parent makes you feel like you don't matter, you know what I'm saying? Or like you're less than, or you're this or that, like just pick a poison. There are parents out here who purposefully hurt their children and try to bring them down, who ruin their accomplishments, who have to make every day about them. Like I saw one video, this lady was graduating. Her mom decides to throw a temper tantrum on her graduation day and bully her and berate her. Like some parents just want the limelight, or like how Diddy allegedly like sabotaged all of his children's careers and things. It's like, come on now. Like, what is really good? What is really going on? And at some point, as you become healed and you start establishing boundaries, you just realize you're not putting up with that stuff anymore. And it becomes less about who it is and more about the action. It doesn't matter if you're a parent, a guardian, whoever. If you continue to hurt someone and you get joy out of it, at some point you have to know they're going to cut you off. And then like they'll say like, oh, well, my parent did all this stuff to me and I stayed. Well, that's because you're fine with being abused. I'm not. You're fine with being mistreated. I'm not. You're fine with being disrespected. I'm not. I had an older relative, after she told me to report this fool to HR when I was being harassed at work, this other relative, she told me it would take a man pulling me out by my hair before I would report someone to HR. Well, that's you, honey. You mean to tell me, and you're proud of that for you to report someone to HR, he would have to physically strike you and drag you by your hair out of the office, and that's what would cause you to defend yourself just by telling on him? What? And you're telling me that that's a flex? It would, let me say that again in case you didn't hear it. My female relative, after she told me to report the man to HR for harassing me because he was doing too much, and he like started yelling at me in the middle of the workday and like banging on the table and cornered me because I didn't want to go on a date with him. What a weirdo, what a lame, right? And so she's telling me that for her to have reported someone to HR, this is an older female relative of mine, told me that he would have to drag her out by her hair. Are you crazy? Once you get to that point, I'm calling the police. I'm not calling the job. I'm calling the police. You're going to jail. What? And that's the thing. Like, some people are okay with being mistreated, but that doesn't mean that we have to be. Period.
Narcissistic parents or toxic parents rarely ever recognize their grown adult children as adults. And of course, if you're new here, I'm actually a clinically diagnosed narcissist. If you have a parent that is highly narcissistic or toxic or is an actual narcissist, you know exactly what I mean when I say they will never ever see you as an adult in their eyes. To them, you will always be their child, and to them, you will always owe them a debt. Like narcissistic parents, a lot of them feel like you owe them a debt for being born, for being raised, for the sacrifices that they made to give you everything that you have. They feel like your life is a loan that you will spend the rest of paying them back, like you owe me. So I can't see you as an adult I always see you as my little child that owes me respect and owes me their life. No matter how old you are, you can be in your 50s and they can be in their 60s or 70s and still look at you as a child. Toxic, narcissistic parents rarely ever give their adult children the respect that they deserve.
Here are 8 signs that you're dealing with a narcissistic mother and she's jealous of you. Number 1, she will take credit for anything that you've accomplished on your own. You know, this is just a center of attention tactic. Like, she just didn't hurt you and she didn't put you through all of this. She didn't watch you go out on the streets and be put out on the streets with your kids. And when you finally had enough and get up and do what you got to do, and you know, you become this big time person, she wants to take accountability. Oh, yeah, I did that for my daughter. I guided her through life and I did this. No, you didn't do anything. Number 2, she does not act her age. She doesn't know how to regulate her emotions, but she knows how to provoke you. Okay? Her first reaction to anybody calling her out, whether it's her children, her mother, or a stranger, is violence. She doesn't know how to express what she feels, but instead her way of expressing it is violence. All right? That's not how grown people act, honey. We talk this out. Everything does not have to be about fighting. Number 3, she love bombs you. So she give you all this affection and stuff like that, and when it's not going her way, when you're not doing what she wants you to do, she'll take back all those scars or affection and all that, and she will throw that shit in your face. Or she will act like this picture perfect mother. She would treat you like a goddess in public, but treat you like trash in private. Number 4, she plays the victim. She provokes a reaction out of you. But then when you react the way that she expects for you to react, she wants to play this holy card, and she wants to play, oh my God, my daughter just hit me, even though she hit you first. Oh my God, my daughter just pushed me, even though she got in your face after you asked her 5, 6, 7, 8 times, please get out my face. Please give me some time to think to myself. Please, I'm just begging you. I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. And she keeps going and she keep picking. It's like a damn scalp on your damn arm, and a child picking at it. And then when it finally gets infected, then what? You're bleeding. Y'all come back for part 2. I have so much more.
And sometimes when an abuser wants to abuse you, they'll set you up to be in a situation to where their abuse will be justified. This is often used against children living with an abusive adult. I saw this play out pretty regularly between one of my parents and my brother. This parent really enjoyed being physical with my brother. But eventually my brother reached an age to where even any type of discipline on physical grounds became kind of weird and would need more justification than just popping a child's leg, so to speak. So what happened is, as my brother reached his teen years, his abuse became justified through this parent putting him up to things that he was bound to either fail at or at least not do well in. And these would be things that were closely tied to his future. Maybe this parent would make him take a advanced college level math course while my brother was still maybe a freshman in high school. My brother never was a mathematician or had an interest in STEM to my knowledge growing up. He wanted to be a musician. So already making him register for this class was a setup, but it was a setup that would create the bad grades that would then allow this particular parent that set him up to have grounds to abuse him further. Another way parents will also do this is being really involved in their kids' sport life. This same parent would do this to my brother. So now when the bad grades come in, they're not only mad at you for your bad grades, but also for what it means in your sports life. Another place where they exhibit a large level of unhealthy control. And this becomes another grounds by which your inadequacies in this area of your life justifies them being inadequate to you as a parent by justifying their ability to abuse you. This belief that the people that raise you want to see you do well is delusion at best. Many parents will actually set their kids up for failure if they want a reason to make a good kid bad. It's actually super sad, but it's so commonly done. But after finding out the formula, it's hard to ignore. The truth is, some parents purposefully set their kids up for failure at certain things. They purposefully don't learn their kids. They purposefully put their kids into things they don't like to see them fail and to have a reason to then berate them. For me, a lot of this centered around my queer identity with one of my parents. My parent liked putting me in clothes that didn't suit me or made me visibly uncomfortable. They liked putting me in schools where I would be underrepresented, forced to follow religious guidelines, of course, not aligning with this identity. And the hope was that these environments would make me fail, to give them grounds to say to everybody else, see, look at them. This is what they do. This is why we have to be so harsh to them. When that doesn't happen, these people become even more hungry for an opportunity to show others you're this bad actor, as they want others to believe, so that even they can feel justified amongst their adult peers in how they treat you. The lengths these people will go are scary, and this is exactly why I say,
my parents destroyed my sense of self, made my personality split into different alters, gave me this disorder called OSDD, similar to DID, dissociative identity disorder, and I'm just really mad. I'm discovering this at 38. I knew they were horribly psychologically abusive, but I never realized that this is what happened because of it. Because if your parents do stuff like this before age 8, you never develop personality. And anyone in my shoes, the same thing would have happened. I'm an only child, you know. I don't have any siblings. And in the end, it's like I'm a grown man. I gotta get over this. It's just much harder to get over when your identity has been fractured. It's like the biggest fucking... I mean, I'm just realizing... I'm just feeling competition for the first time when I'm 38, because you have to have a sense of identity to feel competition. And I know that's so hard to relate to, but like I'm watching sports now and it's like, I see what all the fuss has been about. I understand it. I never really understood sports or anything having to do with competition my whole life, because you have to have an identity to... It's just really fucking tough, guys. It's really tough. Like, and then to most people, they're just like, you can't even relate. They're just like, well, get over your parents. Like, it's so much easier to get over your parents if you're just depressed because of your parents, or you're just anxious because of your parents, or you just feel anger because of your parents, or like if you have a normal psychological problem because of parents, it's so much easier to get over it. And no one understands this unless you also have identity fracture, which, fuck.
Hey man, what's happening? This for all my people, man, who are estranged from their parents, and I mean, matter of fact, specifically your mama. No contact with them, right? I don't really even elaborate with anyone, even disclose to anyone that I'm no contact with my mother, as far as in my personal life. Because one thing I know is most people, they won't understand what sense it makes to give someone some insight on your reasoning for going no contact with your birth mother, just for them to just misunderstand you and for them to just be looking at you in confusion. I've had my times where I kind of give people some insight who I feel like I can trust a little bit, where I feel like this person is kind of righteous. So you kind of go to disclosing to them your reasoning for going no contact with your mother. So you kind of explain to them, you know, you go into a little bit of details as far as like what your narcissistic mother subjected you to growing up. You know, you let them know on how she maybe was abusive and neglectful, abandoned you, allowed other people to subject you to abuse and mistreatment. However long you go to expressing to them the things that you endured with your narcissistic mother, after the conversation, they still tell you that's still your mama. Man, look, I be wanting to slap fire y'all them. Cause it's like, what you mean that's still my mom? I just told you that this person damn near destroyed me. Psychologically had me in a bad space. Physically abused me. You basically dismissing all that and telling me, well, that's still your mama. Like, what they even mean by that shit? What you mean that's still my mama? Obviously she wasn't a loving mama. Obviously didn't have the best interest of me. What you mean by that? Look, this is how I take that. This is how I interpret when they do that, right? I think they the same. I think they align with your narcissistic mother. Because why else would they tell you to still stay in communication with someone who damn near destroyed you as a person? They're no different. They wicked just like them.
One of the most evil things a narcissistic parent will do is called triangulation. And this is where they will pit siblings against each other by comparing, criticizing, favoring one child while devaluing the other. And I'm sorry, but this is absolutely no accident whatsoever. Narcissistic parents know exactly what they're doing. By keeping their children in competition, the abusive parent ensures loyalty, dependency, and distraction. And instead of raising your children to understand how to live in unity and in love, triangulation literally breeds insecurity, jealousy, and fractured relationships, which honestly, you guys, this lasts well into adulthood. It is so incredibly sad. You know what it robs the children of? It robs the children of being able to grow up with their sibling as their ally. They look at their siblings as direct rivals. If you were a child who was raised in this triangulation type of abuse, you have to accept that it was never your sibling. It was never your sibling. It was your parent. And trust me, I get it. It sucks to have to do the work to repair, mend, and heal what somebody else broke. Like, I totally get it. But at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to break the cycle. Not only that, you guys, we have to recognize the pain and the triggers that we feel when we compare ourselves to the sibling has actually nothing to do with them, but is entirely wrapped up in the manipulation that we endured from our parent. And healing means that we have to separate ourselves from our sibling who was forced into that role, to grow, to love, and to rebuild the connection that was intentionally broken. And if I can leave you with anything at all, it's we can restore what our parents broke. And if you are the one punishing your sibling because of your parents' mistakes and your parents' manipulation, I just want to say now you're the one at fault. As adults, we are 100% accountable for how we choose to heal, how we choose to grow, show up, treat people. You can't blame your parents forever. And if you're new here, my name is Rini. I talk about abuse almost every single day, and mostly narcissistic parental abuse. I've been no contact with my mom for 6 years, and let me tell you, it's been the best 6 years of my life. If you've been through it or you're currently going through it, follow me, because you and I, we're healing, we're learning boundaries, and we are growing together. One day, one reel, one post at a time. I love you guys.
I'm gonna make a very vulnerable video, girls, because I know I've been getting a lot of requests to speak about narcissistic mothers or pick-me mothers who end up with highly narcissistic men, or as I would like to call them, dusty fathers, okay? And kind of like how I've been dealing and navigating kind of the breakthrough that I have seen in my life, and hopefully this will help you, okay? The Lord has shown me a lot of different things regarding my parents, my mom in particular, but like high levels of control, manipulation, all of that. And I really had to sit down and like have a kumbaya moment with the Lord, because I was like, look, if someone is getting in my way, if someone is like sabotaging me from marriage, like we know about spirit spouse, we know about all that, but I said, if someone is sabotaging me, please, Lord, let me know. Like, level with me, come on now. I said, let me know, because I know I'm not out here tripping. Like, why is it that, for example, certain opportunities, no matter how qualified I am, for example, like overqualified, I seem to not get these opportunities. And it's not just like my love life, it could be like different parts of my life. And I'm just like, there's something that's not clicking. And it took a very crazy situation this summer to happen between my mom and I, and between my stepfather and I, for me to like really see things for what they were. So this testimony is kind of long, but I'm gonna make this short, as short as possible. But
for those of you girls who are going through very similar things, I want you to know that you're A, understood, but B, that there will be similar themes. Like, you are not alone, okay? And like I said, how the Lord has helped me overcome, okay? So, long story short, my mother decided that she wanted to set me up with someone. Now, seeing as though she is a pick-me, and doesn't know my taste, and there's a really weird thing with pick-me's and their daughters, and like weird jealousy and weird bitterness and whatever, or you know, I don't know how to freaking say it, but a lot of these mothers cannot conceptualize the fact that you are actually being taken care of and being loved by men on the roster. They just can't understand that, or they can't fathom that a man would actually want to spoil you and want to treat you right and blah blah blah, right? So she tried setting me up with someone, which I don't trust her judgment, so there's that. I also saw a picture of this guy and I just wasn't attracted, and I said, you know what, no thanks. And I'm also seeing somebody on my roster that I genuinely feel like is going to give me a lot more than what anyone else you probably could offer me, okay? So there was that. She didn't like it that I had to say that, and she decided to call my best friend behind my back, try to convince my best friend to talk to me so that I would give this Haitian Dominican dude a chance. And I said, please stop. So that really got me. Then she sent my tyrant stepfather, Dusty, to come after me verbally and pretty much forced me to give my phone number to this guy, because apparently this guy's a family friend of a family friend of blah blah blah, right? The point is, I said no multiple times and they just refused to listen. So I felt like at that point I was being emotionally raped. Genuinely, that's how I was feeling, because I was like, these people are insane. Like, I'm telling them I am not interested, and they continuously push me to the point where my stepfather shared my number with this guy. This guy proceeded to contact me. I simply said, I'm not comfortable. Please stop contacting me. Girls, I don't want to get into the whole story, or maybe I should, I don't know. But my mom tried to do me some favor by telling this aunt or whatever, this mutual friend of sorts, that, oh, Mara's a Christian, she's waiting until marriage, blah blah blah. And I said, why would you even say that? Like, I have this thing about not telling men that I'm waiting until marriage, because I just don't feel like that's the smart thing to do. Anyway, so he decided, since I was ghosting this guy, the guy in question, he pretty much said, I don't want to talk to you anyway, because I'm not looking for a girl that's not going to put out for me. So I sent that screenshot to my parents to have them back off, because I'm like, you see? No. Did you think they took that as, oh, wow, Mara, we're sorry? No. They took that as more ammunition. So, got the guy to continuously call me to apologize. It was just such a mess. Anyway, it was just crazy. Then my car broke down, y'all. My car broke down on 95. I was on 15%. It was dark outside. Geico was coming with like the the towing truck or whatever. But at that point, I had to call my parents, despite all their their nonsense, debauchery nonsense, okay? I was still calling them because this is an emergency. But my stepfather decided to start screaming at me now that I literally need help. Like, I'm actually in danger. Like, I'm on the side of the road on 95. My vehicle's dark. I'm on 15%. I'm waiting for the tow truck. But, like, I'm still having to wait for probably 2 hours in the dark. Like, someone come and meet me. He said no. So I hung up on him quickly. I called my sister. My sister told my mom what was going on. And my mom changed the subject. I overheard on the phone. She started talking about her cinnamon and her groceries. Okay, like crazy stuff. They could care less how I got the F home. I'm sorry. They could not care less. Anyway, right? So the Lord, I'm just summarizing this whole debauchery. This whole summer has been really crazy, okay? And now that I'm getting serious with someone on the roster, like literally we're discussing marriage, but because this guy comes from a very conservative background, we need families to be on board. So there is no like Western, I'm gonna propose to you and we can just get married and like you can go no contact with your parents. That's not how it's gonna work in this particular family, okay? So she knows this and she's stepping in my way. She's literally getting in my way. She does not want me being with this man who actually wants to marry me, y'all. So you can imagine my frustration, okay? So anyway, this is what the Lord pretty much revealed to me. Your mom is operating in witchcraft. And any single time that she prays against your wishes and your dreams. So let's say you get an awesome job opportunity, right? But somehow that job opportunity would somehow fall flat. Something wouldn't happen because she's praying that I would do something serious with my life, right? She's praying that I would, I don't know, that I'd go to law school or that I would do something that'd be more reputable in the Haitian community, right? She hates the fact that I nanny. She hates the fact that I do anything domestic related. She hates the fact that I want to be a homemaker. She hates the fact that I want to be spoiled and a housewife. So you already know that's very triggering for Black people across the board, but particularly with Haitian immigrants, okay, where they're very, very just performance-based, okay? So every single time that she would pray, she'd be praying against me, which pretty much would be I'm having warfare from inside the house, okay? And me not even knowing it. But the way that she would call people to intimidate me, or she would send the Rottweiler stepfather to intimidate me, or all of her Jedi mind tricks to get at me, the moment I broke that connection, y'all, when I tell you I prayed, I said I sever demonic ties with my mother, with my stepfather, with anybody close to me that's trying to prohibit me from getting to my destination in this life, I bind you and I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I promise you guys, when I tell you in the midst of my troubles, the Lord gave me the best job, y'all, with the amazing perks you wouldn't even believe, so supernatural, okay? Love life couldn't be better, okay? And it's funny because as my life is going up, somehow it's almost like a weird balance. You know, it's like her life is this way and then my life is this way. And I'm like, because when her life was here or kind of wavering in the midst of her survival mode, my life would always somehow be down here, always struggle bus Mara. Couldn't figure it out for the life of me until I had mentors in the faith tell me your mom is operating in some serious witchcraft, knowingly or unknowingly to her. But her trying to impose her will is getting in your way. And that's my testimony, y'all.
You know what? And I'm going to close with this. I was having a discussion with one of my cousins because he was basically telling me that his daughter is not talking to him either right now. Because you know what? We are done with this stuff, right? So he didn't understand why. And I'm like, well, because he's like, you know, just to make, I'm not going to put his business out there, but basically he was telling me that his mom did X, Y, and Z to him, and he still talks to his mom, and all he did was X to his daughter, and he doesn't understand why she doesn't talk to him. And I had to say, first of all, just because you didn't do X, Y, and Z, it doesn't mean you didn't do X. So regardless, you still did something, and it doesn't matter if you would stay. Your daughter grew up in a safer environment, so she's going to take less drama. She's going to take less. She's going to have sturdier boundaries because she wasn't taught her whole life that she was nothing and didn't deserve to have boundaries. Of course, I didn't say that to him so bluntly, but the truth is, thankfully, him and his significant other, who I don't think they're so together, but him and his ex created a safer environment for his daughter to grow up in. So of course she's going to have different boundaries than you. And the fact of the matter is, just because you didn't intentionally hurt her, it doesn't mean you didn't do it. So instead of playing the victim about, oh, I'm sorry, she's being mean, how about you own up to what you've done, apologize, and move on? If people would take less time feeling like the victim after they victimize someone and more time recognizing that you might have hurt someone's feelings even if you did it unintentionally, and instead of trying to turn yourself into the victim, try apologizing. How about that? Just because you only did X to your child and your mama did X, Y, and Z and you still talk to her, you still did X and you know X is wrong. So how about instead of trying to victimize yourself and like, oh, well, I stayed with my mom after she abused me. So what? We don't care. We have boundaries. And when you protect your child, they're going to have stronger boundaries than you because they were allowed to. When you've been hurt so much, you start to think that that is the way you're supposed to be treated. So you don't even recognize it as abuse. But when you protect your child and you raise someone who knows their worth, they're not going to allow you or anybody to disrespect them in that same way. So just because you are okay with being hurt and brought down and abused, it does not mean that your child is going to be okay with that. And again, just because you didn't intend on hurting someone's feelings or hurting or whatever, it does not mean you didn't do it. And instead of trying to victimize yourself and your child's experience, how about you own up to what you've done and apologize? And here's the thing, it doesn't make you bad for messing up. Children, we know you're going to have mess ups, but all you can do is acknowledge what you've done and improve, and then you'll be fine. But if you continue to make yourself the victim after you're the one who did the crazy thing in the first place, you have to know that your child might cut you off. And then after you've healed, once you've gone through this process, you have to also accept that maybe your child will not want you back. And that's okay. You heal and you grow for your own health and your own happiness. But once that line has been drawn in the sand, it might never come back because your child might realize that their life is a lot less toxic without you around. It's not a personal thing. Like in my situation, it's not a personal thing against my parent. I love the parent that I cut off. Absolutely. I absolutely love them. But would I ever talk to him again? No. Why? Because I just cannot go down that path anymore. I've worked too hard to have mental peace to allow anyone to come into my space and take that away from me. I'm sorry. And I just don't trust that anything would ever happen in my dad's life to change who he is as a person. And that just doesn't work for me. It doesn't mean he's bad. He's a great person. It doesn't mean he's anything horrible. It just means that he and I cannot have a relationship because I am not willing to risk my mental peace for anybody else ever again. Period. And we don't recircle the block. There's only one person that I've ever talked to that I'm circling the block on ever again. And we're still on good terms right now. So, but just like with an ex, like once he's gone, he's gone. Just leave him there. And like I said, it doesn't mean that there's anything against, like, just because you cut your parent off, it doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't wish them the best and all those things. But at some point, once you become a healed adult, you start to realize who was the problem and who was the source of pain, the source of tears, the source of sleepless nights, the source of feeling bad, the source of feeling abandoned, the source of all of these negative things. You start to realize it is not worth it. And in my particular case, I don't want to put all the business out there because, like I said, I don't dislike him or anything. But in my case, it got to a point where like some crazy stuff happened. And at some point I'll tell the story. It might come out on its own. I really don't care. But the point is, like, I had to make a real decision. And so I haven't talked to my dad. Let me see. I haven't talked to my dad in like 3 years now. But I'm fine, and sometimes he will like send messages through other people. Like his, I think they're married. I don't know if they still are or what, but his wife or side chick, whatever, reached out to me recently and I blocked her because I was like, oh shoot, I didn't realize there was a hole in the foundation. Blocked. Because my thing is, again, it's not that I don't like him. It's just that there's too much potential that it will not work out that I don't even want to try anymore. Like, let's just accept we don't get along. Let's just accept it and move on. There's no reason to try anymore. We know that this is our reality, and perhaps we just accept it and move on. And so that's what I've just been doing. So all that to say, like, if you're on this journey and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel bad for cutting my parent off, just know, just because you cut them off, it doesn't mean you stop loving them. You just love yourself more. Period. I love myself too much to allow myself to be hurt by you ever again. And I just don't trust that you wouldn't hurt me. So you cannot come back in my life. It's just what it is. All right, comment below. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. And I'll see you guys next time. Oh, and just so you know, like, I was not SA'd or physically hurt by my father or anything like that. And so that is why, like I said, I don't have any ill will towards him. I just know that it's best for both of us if we keep our distance. And that's okay. And I still love him. I wish him the best. You know, I would give him 5 stars or maybe on his business, whatever. But as far as us having a relationship, it's just not healthy. And sometimes you just have to make that choice. Just like with a breakup. Sometimes you might really, really care for the person, but if they keep doing too much and you know it's not healthy, somebody has to decide enough is enough. And, you know, and then you teach. I also believe that helps people in the long run, because now maybe, you know, he'll treat my sister better because he won't want another daughter to cut him off. You know, that's how I feel. Sometimes when you have to make the hard decisions, you're actually helping people, because once they see a real consequence, hopefully that will help them make better decisions later on. Because that's how I am. If you mess up and somebody holds you responsible, all you can do is be better next time, right? Right. So that's what I say. Just focus on trying to be better next time, and then just allow people to live their life, because sometimes, you know, people don't learn until they realize that there's no coming back from it. And then they'll treat the next person better. All right, let me know what you guys thought about this. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.